The December wind carried salt and memories across the ferry deck that evening. Margaret watched the younger passengers hurry inside, away from the cold, but she stayed. Her wheelchair was positioned near the railing, her blanket pulled tight around her shoulders. She had learned long ago that some things were worth the discomfort. The Christmas lights strung along the deck swayed gently, casting golden patterns on the dark water below. Margaret was 28 now, but sometimes she felt much older. The accident 3 years ago had changed everything. Her dance studio, her independence, her dreams of teaching children to move with joy. All of it had transformed in an instant on a rainy October night. But tonight was different. Tonight, the ferry company had decorated the deck for the holidays, and Margaret had heard there would be a meteor shower. She hadn't seen stars properly in years. The city lights always drowned them out near her apartment, and getting to open spaces required planning she usually couldn't manage alone. She tilted her head back, searching the sky, but her wheelchair's position made it impossible to see much beyond the deck lights and the ship's upper structure. Frustration welled up inside her. It seemed like such a small thing to see the stars, but small things had become mountains in her new life. That's when she noticed him. A tall man in an expensive dark suit stood near the cabin door, his phone pressed to his ear. He was speaking in low, clipped tones, the kind of conversation that suggested decisions and consequences. Marcus Chun had been on this ferry 100 times, traveling between the mainland and the island where his company's newest resort was under construction. Tonight should have been another routine crossing, but his daughter Lily's voice on the phone had stopped him in his tracks. She was 15 now, growing up too fast, and their conversations had become strained ever since the divorce 2 years ago. Tonight, she had called to tell him she made the school dance team. He had missed the audition because of a board meeting. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," he said, trying to pour warmth into words across the digital distance. But he heard the hesitation in her voice, the unspoken disappointment that he hadn't been there to see it. The call ended with polite goodbyes that felt like miles between them. Marcus lowered his phone and noticed a young woman in the wheelchair for the first time. She was looking up at the sky with an expression he recognized. It was longing mixed with resignation, the look of someone who had learned to lower their expectations. He watched as she tried to adjust her position, craning her neck at an uncomfortable angle. The meteor shower was due any minute now. He remembered Lily at 7 years old, making him drive 2 hours outside the city to watch shooting stars. She had counted 43 of them, her face glowing with wonder. When had he stopped making time for wonder? Margaret felt tears of frustration building. She had come all this way, taken 3 different buses, and waited 40 minutes for the accessible ferry entrance, all to see something she might not even be able to properly view. "Excuse me," a deep voice said. She looked up to find the man in the suit standing beside her. Up close, she could see the weariness in his eyes, the kind that came from carrying too much for too long. "I notice you're trying to see the meteor shower," Marcus said gently. "The angle from your chair makes it difficult. Would you allow me to help?" Margaret hesitated. Pride had become both her armor and her prison since the accident. But something in his face, a genuine kindness without pity, made her nod. "Yes," she said quietly. "Would you please lift me up so I can see the sky properly?" Marcus moved carefully, asking permission before each movement. He was stronger than his business suit suggested, but he lifted her with surprising gentleness, as if she were made of something precious. Margaret's arms went around his neck for balance, and suddenly she was high enough to see past the deck lights, past the ship's structure, into the vast darkness above. The first meteor streaked across the sky, just as her view cleared. "Oh," she breathed. Then another came, and another. The shower had begun. Marcus held her steady, his arms strong and sure, saying nothing. He simply gave her this moment. this gift of perspective. Margaret had forgotten how big the sky was, how infinite, how her problems, as real and difficult as they were, existed under something so much vaster. The stars didn't care about her wheelchair, about her lost dreams, about all the things she couldn't do anymore. They just shone, constant and beautiful, the same stars that had watched over humanity for thousands of years. She felt something shift inside her chest. Not a healing exactly, but a loosening, a reminder that she was part of something larger than her pain. "My daughter loves meteor showers," Marcus said softly, breaking the silence. "I haven't watched one with her in years. Too busy building things, making money, proving something to people who probably don't even notice." Margaret heard the regret in his voice. "It's not too late," she said. "She's still here, isn't she? Still calling you?" She called tonight to share good news. "I wasn't there for the moment itself. But you're there now, on the phone in her life. That counts for something." Margaret watched another meteor arc across the darkness. "I used to teach dance. I had 70 students. After my accident, I thought that part of my life was over. But last month, a mother contacted me. She wanted to know if I could teach her daughter. The girl uses a wheelchair too." Marcus looked at her with new understanding. "I said no at first," Margaret continued. "I couldn't imagine teaching from a chair. How could I show her movements I couldn't do anymore? But then I realized I could teach her something more important. I could teach her that dance isn't just about perfect movement. It's about expression, about joy, about refusing to let circumstances steal your music. Did you say yes?" "I start teaching her in January." They stayed like that for 20 minutes, Marcus holding Margaret steady, while the universe put on its show. Other passengers had noticed and come outside, pointing at the sky, their voices filled with childlike excitement. But Marcus and Margaret existed in their own quiet space. Two people who had forgotten how to look up, remembering together. When the shower finally slowed, Marcus carefully lowered Margaret back into her wheelchair, making sure she was comfortable and her blanket was properly arranged. "Thank you," Margaret said, and the words carried more weight than simple gratitude. "Thank you," Marcus replied. "I needed to remember something tonight. You helped me remember it." He pulled out his business card, then paused and turned it over, writing something on the back. "This is my personal number. If you ever need anything for your new student, a sponsor for equipment, a space to teach, anything at all, please call me." "I mean that." Margaret took the card, surprised. "You don't even know me." "I know enough. You asked for help tonight, which takes courage. You're starting something new when it would be easier to give up, which takes strength. And you reminded me that the best things in life happen when we look up instead of down."